Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Today, I want to discuss a credit union that I believe is still one of the most underrated institutions out there. Today, we're going to break down Andrews Federal Credit Union, and I do believe that this is one of the strongest hidden gems and that anybody that's looking for flexibility when it comes to lending products, relationship building opportunities, they may want to consider this very seriously. You can get approved for up to $50,000 on a single credit card, and all it takes to get in the door is a $5 membership. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Andrews Federal Credit Union, also known as AFCU, is a member-owned financial cooperative that was founded in 1948 at Joint Base Andrews, Maryland, with over $2.52 billion in assets. While Andrews is not in the top 10 largest credit unions by asset, it's a solid medium to large regional institution compared to the thousands of smaller credit unions in the US. And Yahoo Finance listed Andrews Federal Credit Union among the top 10 best in the nation in 2026. Branch locations are in Maryland, New Jersey, Virginia, and Washington, D.C., as well as military institutions in Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. And Andrews Federal Credit Union proudly serves military and civilian members worldwide. It also offers your typical banking services, including checking, savings, credit cards, loans, and a whole lot more, which we will cover in this video. Next, let's talk about membership eligibility. Now, there are several different ways that you may qualify for membership with Andrews Federal Credit Union. If you work, volunteer, worship, or attend school in Washington, D.C., or in that general area, that might create eligibility opportunities. Or if you're in the military, you're related to somebody in the military, or you live with someone who already banks with Andrews Federal Credit Union, this can also open the door. For individuals who don't meet any of those requirements directly, there are organizations such as the American Consumer Council that can create eligibility, and that's the option that many people use to gain access to this credit union. Now, I will also demonstrate later in this video exactly how you can do that. The actual sign-up process is also pretty simple. If you apply online, it takes about like 5 minutes, and they'll ask you for identification. That's going to be like your driver's license, your passport, or your ID card, and some basic information. And again, we'll walk through those steps later. Now, once you're approved for membership, you typically have to open a savings account with a $5 minimum deposit. Andrews Federal Credit Union typically will pull a check systems report when you apply for a new account. Now, as a financial institution, they use this to check your banking history for issues like overdrafts or unpaid balances. They also run a soft credit pull to verify your identity. If you're having any issues with check systems, please refer to my video about disputing check systems information. I'm going to link that video right here. Now, Andrews Federal Credit Union is also known for using the same hard inquiry within a 30-day window for multiple products. So if you apply for a credit card or an auto loan or anything like that, Andrews will likely pull your Experian credit report. Now, that's what happened in my experience. However, depending on where you are, that could change. I've seen some conflicting data points where, depending on where you may live, sometimes it can also be Equifax. My recommendation is to freeze your Equifax, freeze your TransUnion, and leave your Experian open. But once again, when I apply for a credit card, Experian, that's what got pulled. And as far as I can tell, Experian is what they pull for other products as well. All right, so now that we covered the overview and the eligibility requirements, let's go over to the website. Currently, we are on andrewsfcu.org. Now, before we actually talk about joining this credit union and going through those step by step, we need to actually know the accounts that we're going to be using. So let's start with the checking and savings accounts. Now, Andrews Federal Credit Union will offer 3 different accounts, and that's going to be the Kasasa Cash Checking, the Kasasa Cashback Checking, and the online checking account. Now, with the Kasasa checking account, you can earn high dividends up to 5.25% APY. That is at the time of recording this video. Now, if you did want to earn that 5.25% APY, you earn that on balances up to $25,000 when you meet qualifications, including making 15 debit card transactions in a single month. Now, I will say that earning 5.25% APY in a checking account is actually amazing. I think that's actually wonderful. That's higher than what you get on certain high yield savings accounts. So without a doubt, that's really not a bad place to keep your money, for all intents and purposes. Now, if we take a look at some of the additional features, this account will include a free rewards dashboard that makes it easier for you to track your account activity and the rewards. It's all in one place. It's available in digital banking, and this tool is to help you stay on top of your progress and maximize the rewards that you get each month. So the main benefits of this account will be the high dividend offer, which is amazing. There's also the ATM withdrawal refunds. So you get refunds on ATM withdrawal fees that are charged on other ATM owners nationwide. It's up to $25 per month. There is no additional hidden cost, and you also get access to funds early. So you can get your paycheck one day earlier with early direct deposit. Now, these are the current rates at the time of recording this video, so you can always take a look at this and see what the minimum opening amount is that you can earn. And we have that dividend rate of course, 5.125%, and then the annual percentage yield of 5.25%. Then there's a dividend rate on $25,000 or more. So really, if you have more than $25,000, you're only going to earn 0.499%. or 0.50% annually. So it really wouldn't behoove you to actually keep more than $25,000 in this account from what I'm seeing here. Now, if you have just looks like 1 cent or more, you earn 0.050 or 0.50, which is very close to like the national standard. It's not really much at all. Now, to qualify for this, I would always come down here, check this because it might change. You must have a minimum of 15 PIN-based or signature-based debit card purchases. That's very important. And at least 1 direct deposit or ACH transaction and enrollment in digital banking and e-statements. So all of this needs to be done for you to get that higher yield amount on that $25,000. They'll also cover what types of transactions do not count towards those qualifying transactions, like ATM process transactions or transfers between accounts, or debit card transactions processed by merchants and received by the credit union as bill payment transactions. And if you don't meet the qualifying transactions for the month, do you lose the rewards? The answer is yes. So you always want to read this to make sure that you understand how this works. All right, so next we have the Kasasa cashback checking. On this account, you can earn 3% cash back on your debit card purchases. There are no monthly fees. There are no minimum balances that are required for this account. Now, I think this is pretty cool. If you think about that, there are some credit cards that don't even give you back this much money. So you can make everyday shopping trips more rewarding by earning 3% cash back when you use your debit card to make qualifying purchases. That to me is so completely underrated. I mean, I believe everything that you should do actually should get cash back. In fact, I only use credit cards for everything because they give me cash back. So in this case, you can get a pretty decent offer when you have an account with Andrews. Now, just like the previous account, you get the cash rewards dashboard where you can keep track of all your qualification requirements. You can track your progress. You can view your past rewards. You can see reward cycle dates at a glance, and you can view rewards earned each and every month. It's also no monthly fee, and there's also access to funds early with that early direct deposit. And of course, you always want to check what the qualifications are, and they're pretty much the exact same. You need to make 15 PIN-based or signature-based debit card purchases with an Andrews Federal debit card. You need at least 1 direct deposit or ACH transaction, and of course, enrollment in digital banking and e-statements. Now, I highly recommend always checking qualifications and terms and conditions. From what I could tell here, there is no cap based on that 3%, but I haven't looked at terms and conditions. For all we know, there might be a cap on there. I would always recommend reviewing this because at the time of recording, this offer may be available, but it also might change depending on when you're watching this video. And last, we have the personal online checking account. And this one is supposed to align with your lifestyle, whether you want to earn high balances, more rewards, or just basic no frills convenience, or just getting paid one day early. You can choose the right account for you. So for this account, it looks like just everyday convenience with all digital access, early streamlined mobile access, contactless debit card, and then the potential to waive your monthly account fee. So I would say out of all of the accounts, I think the online checking account is probably the least valuable one. You really don't get anything additional here. And it looks like you actually do have a monthly fee unless you actually do something. There's a stipulation here to waive that fee. So here it is. The $10 monthly fee will be waived if you meet one of the following criteria. You need to complete at least 10 debit card transactions each month, or if you are under 24 years old, or if you are a U.S. military member. Okay, so as long as you have that, you're enrolled in digital banking, your account does not offer checks or check clearing, and the account is not eligible for privilege pay, our courtesy payment overdraft service, other methods of overdraft protection, such as a transfer from savings or an overdraft line of credit, are available. So, I mean, for me personally, I probably would just avoid this account. I really don't see what value you would get from it. It doesn't really make sense, where the other accounts you can actually earn money on a higher balance or earn cash back for actually using your debit card. I think those are way better. Now, when it comes to the savings accounts, Andrews has 3 different options for you. You have the high yield savings. Now, this one is ideal for members who want to grow larger balances. Now, that one has a 3.5% APY on balances up to $250,000. There is no opening deposit that's required. So more than likely, I would probably get this savings account right here because you get a nice APY. You can also have an APY on the other checking account. So I see benefits to this one. There are no restrictions and you can manage via the digital app. And this is ideal for members who have higher balances and you're seeking the maximum yield that you can possibly get. Then there's the online savings account. That one is great for a short-term goal or an emergency fund. There are promotional rates at the time of recording for $1,000, and it is also tiered. So as you put more balances, it will most likely increase. You do not have a minimum opening deposit, and there are no restrictions. And this is for if you're looking for flexibility and a bonus when you start saving. Now, the Kasasa Saver is perfect for members who already have a Kasasa Cash or cashback checking account, and they want to automatically build savings. So 1.75% APY is available up to $100,000, then 0.50 APY for any amount above that. There is no minimum requirement. It also requires an active Kasasa Cash or cashback checking to qualify for your rewards. Now, depending on which one of these that you would like, for me personally, I think any of these could be good. It just varies by what your goals are. Now, there are a few other accounts to consider. You do have the club savings account where you can automate your deposits and earn a variable rate and unlock your funds on a predictable date. That sounds like very similar to like a certificate. So you'd have to dig into that a little bit more to see if that's useful to you. There's also the youth savings account. That's to help your child start with a strong savings and grow that as they get older. And there's also the online savings account. That's going to boost your earnings potential with the savings account that rewards you for just getting started. So you guys can take a look at this and go through each one of these and determine which one that you want. However, there will be a basic savings account that no matter what you do have to open that account with $5. All right. So no matter what, you will have that one. And I believe that might be this online savings account. And then you can add some of these in addition, right? So the high yield savings, the online savings, the Kasasa Saver, and actually, well, yeah, these two might be the exact same thing. So if you would like to add any of those additional ones, I do think the high yield savings account would be really good. Now, if you're interested in some investment accounts with Andrews Federal Credit Union, they do have a few options here, especially if you're looking to further your relationship. Now, there is a 12-month jumbo share certificate. At the time of recording, of course, it is 3.60 APY. There's also the 12-month fixed rate share certificate. That is 3.55% APY. There's also the money market account, which can be as high as 1.80% APY. Now, a lot of these, I mean, what they already have for their savings accounts, it's already very competitive. I'm not sure if you would need this unless you want a guaranteed rate that is fixed for a certain period of time, or you want to further your relationship. Now, for that share certificate, it is terms from 6 months to 7 years and raises to your rate up to 3 times. And again, it is fixed guaranteed returns. It can be as low as $1,000 and $10K on the jumbo, and it's easy online opening and of course funding. The money market, you can earn that 1.25% APY. That's going to be on balances from 0.01% to $99,999.99. $1.99. You can also earn 1.80% APY on balances of $100,000 and up. There are no term commitments. It is flexible access to your funds, and the entire balance will earn the stated tier rate, not just the excess. The minimum opening maintenance balance of $1,000 is required. Now, when it comes to IRAs, I won't get into too much detail about that. That is your investment retirement account. If you would like to get an IRA with Andrews, then you can. There are multiple places that you can get IRAs with, however, but if you just want everything in one place, then you can definitely take a look at that. Now, they do have business account opportunities with Andrews Federal Credit Union. However, I do have to scroll down here, and when you try to actually open the account, you do need to fill out the inquiry form, and you do need to have a business that has been established within, I believe, like a 50-mile radius of an Andrews Federal Credit Union branch. So the thing is, like, for all intents and purposes, this is geo-restricted. You can only actually open this account if you're in the area when it comes to Andrews. Now, if we do go over a few of their options here, they have the business signature loan. Now, this one lets you borrow up to $75,000 for business needs. I believe that they will need documentation. They will need tax returns. They will want profit and loss statements. So all of that is required. They also have a business line of credit that you can qualify with credit limits up to $75,000. They have commercial mortgages, and they have commercial vehicle loans. Once again, like it says it right here, you must complete the loan application. You do need your past 2 to 3 year tax returns for the borrower. You also need your personal financial statements for the borrower, and then you need your business entity documentation, and your business must be established for 2 years. So because of all the stipulations on this, I'm not going to go over it in detail because it's going to be for a very niche group of people. However, I highly recommend, if this happens to be you and you qualify for this, then definitely check out their products. Now, before we talked about that credit pull that you get with Experian when it comes to Andrews Federal Credit Union, and if you're looking for, let's say, getting a vehicle loan right now, you can actually get like a credit card and also apply for a vehicle at the same time. Now, they have new auto loan rates as low as 3.89% APR at the time of recording this video. I think that's pretty good. Used auto loans are 4.40%. They also have 13.49% APR for used RVs and 11.99% APR for used motorcycles. Now, one thing that I do like is this 90-day auto loan payment deferral option. So you can start your loan with confidence, and you can take advantage of 90 days payment deferral. That way you don't have to pay your auto loan right up front. You do have some time. Now, they also have the option for you to refinance an auto loan as well. So I would say, hey, look, if you're going to apply for a credit card and you're already going to take a hard inquiry, and maybe you were interested in getting a vehicle, you might as well go ahead and just see what they're offering. Not to mention, they do offer a quick pre-approval process that gives you confidence to negotiate the best deal. So if you are only interested in a car loan, just be aware that you have that option as well. Now, when it comes to personal loans and lines of credit, you can actually do a lot with Andrews Federal Credit Union. They let you borrow up to $50,000 with no sign-up fees or prepayment penalties, and you only pay interest on what you use when it comes to their personal line of credit. Then they also have their signature personal loan. You can borrow up to $50,000, and that's up to 84-month terms. And you also have the overdraft line of credit, which goes up to $10,000. This comes with automatic transfers that prevent overdraft fees and decline transactions. They also have a shared secured loan where you can borrow against your savings while building your credit. So if you wanted something similar to a pledge loan, then this would actually be perfect. You can borrow up to 100% of your available base savings balance, and that's loan amounts from $500 to $500,000, and repayment terms up to 144 months. There's also the cash to go loan where you can borrow $250 to $500 like really quick. So I would say, instead of maybe using like a payday loan option or some of the other places, you can just use this with Andrews Federal Credit Union if you need like a very small amount from $250 to $500. And their personal loan rates are actually pretty good. For 36 months at the time of recording, you can have 6.99% APR. That is really low for a personal loan, and the highest is 84 months, and it's 11.50% APR, and that's again at the time of recording this video. Now, I'm going to cover this very briefly because, things change all the time, but just know that you can get your mortgage with this credit union. They have low down payments. They also help with closing costs. Like there's $1,500 in closing cost credits for qualified applicants, plus up to $20,000 in first time home buyer grants for qualified applicants. You'd probably want to contact them to get more information about that. You can also lock in your rate and ensure that you get the best one with this float down option. Now, I won't go into very much detail about this because like certain things like IRAs, this changes so much. It's better if you just come to the website, take a look at the option. If you already have a situation where maybe you have your auto loan, your credit cards with them, and you just want to put everything in one place, then you might find some pretty good offers for a VA loan, a FHA loan, maybe a conventional loan, or something that might make sense for you. Now, I want to give some more details about the credit card. So before we talk about those, let's actually go step by step in how to join this credit union. So the first thing that you'll want to do is start on the home page and you'll want to click on join now. If this ever changes, I'm sure it'll be something very similar. Then once you do that, you'll be asked to enter your email address and then to confirm your email address. And then you'll click on I confirm that you have read the terms and conditions. You'll want to click on that and read it. And then you'll want to create your account. After that, it'll take you to a page that actually shows you that you need to have the base share savings account. So it says to complete your application, you'll have to become a member of Andrews Federal Credit Union by opening a base share savings account. And then if you would like to add more accounts, then you can. So you can click on yes, I'd like to add more. Now, we already went over all of these accounts. I recommend that you open up a checking and a savings account. So I'm going to click on checking account here. And then I'm going to click on continue. So we've already covered all of these accounts. You can pick the one that works best for you. Now, from the first two accounts, these cash accounts, you don't need to have any minimum deposit. So you don't have to actually put any money. But if you do the online checking, it requires $5. So pick the one that you would prefer. And as soon as you do that, you will be prompted to open a saver account. At least at the time of recording this video, this is an offer. If you want, you can decline that if you already just want the basic base savings. And it'll let you know what your selection is. If you want to, you can add more products. So if you want to, like, let's say, then go back and add the high yield savings account. Like if I want to add more, I can go back to savings, I can click continue, and then I can add like the high yield savings. And I think that's a great account. You can click continue here. And now you have your base savings, you have your checking account, and you also have, in this case, a high yield savings. And then if you're done, you could say, no, finish opening this account. After that, it's going to ask you for your personal information. So you'll enter your first name, last name, date of birth, your social, your gender, your citizenship, your marital status, your current primary address, city, state, your phone number, and your phone type. Now, after you enter your personal information, they're going to qualify you for your membership. So you can skip the first few options for most of us, and then you'll go to none of the above, sign me up through the American Consumer Council, and then you'll click on continue. Next, you'll select your employment status. And then if you do have an employer, you'll put your employer name, your job title, and the duration of years that you have been employed. Then you'll be asked, will this be a joint account? If it will, then you can click yes, but if not, then you can click on no. If you do want to add any beneficiary for your membership account, then you can. If not, then just click on continue. Then you'll be asked if you want a debit card. If you want one, select that and then click on continue. Now, by opening this account, you'll be eligible for an overdraft protection. It will automatically enroll you in this. Now, if you don't want to be in it, you may have to contact them and let them know, but I'm going to click on continue for now. Then it's going to ask you for a telephone passphrase. So they want you to enter this in case you're talking to a representative. It can be max 25 characters. And then last, you will be asked to fund this account. You can use a debit card or you can link an external account. And then once you do that, they will actually send a code to your phone, or it's a QR code that you can actually scan. You'll then scan that, and then you'll scan your driver's license, I believe the front and the back. And then once you do that, you should be able to fund the account, and they should let you know if you were approved. Now, when I signed up, I was automatically approved. It only took maybe 1 or 2 minutes, didn't take very long. And then I was able to get a temporary password sent to my email address. And from there, I was able to sign into online banking and everything was completed. So I'm going to stop right here because obviously with the information I filled out, I'm not going to fund this account. And I already have an account anyway, so I'm not sure if I can go any further. Now let's cover the credit cards. Andrews Federal Credit Union offers credit cards for everyone on the credit card spectrum. Now, the first one is the Supreme Rewards Visa Signature Card. Now, this is the card for the person who wants the most points and they want their spending categories to actually feel modern. Now, you can earn up to 4x points on streaming, gaming, and entertainment purchases, up to 2x points on everyday commuting expenses and gas paid at the pump, and 1x points on everything else. It also comes with a new cardholder offer of 10,000 bonus points when you spend $1,500 within the first 90 days. Of course, that's at the time of recording this video, and the variable APR is as low as 17.99%. There is no annual fee, there is no foreign transaction fee, and there's a balance transfer fee of 2% or $10. Now, the Andrews Federal Credit Union Supreme Rewards Visa Signature Card, it generally requires a good to excellent credit score. So I would say 650 or higher, and that's going to be your Experian credit score. This card can also go up to $50,000 for the total max exposure. Now, the second card is the Titanium Rewards Visa Signature Card. This one is a little bit more practical for the person who wants rewards without overcomplicating everything. Now, you get 3x points on gas paid at the pump and groceries, plus 1.5x points on all other purchases. This one also comes with the same 10,000 bonus points after $1,500 in purchases within the first 90 days, and again, at the time of recording this video. Now, the variable APR will start as low as 12.99%, and just like the Supreme Rewards card, there's no annual fee, there is no foreign transaction fees, and redemption options include cash, travel, merchandise, and a whole lot more. Now, for this credit card, you will still need good to excellent credit, typically between 650 or higher. Now, the third card is the Supreme Visa card, and this one is for a person who cares less about chasing points and more about having low APR. This card currently advertises a 0% APR offer for 6 months, and that's if you make these transactions within 90 days of account opening, and it has a listed variable APR as low as 11.49%, which is the lowest purchase APR shown among all of these cards. This card has no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee, no balance transfer fee, and no cash advance fee, at least according to the website chart at the time of recording this video. Now, the credit score for this one will be around a 600. In fact, if you go to the website, or if you refer back to the website, there's an option that shows the credit cards. The Supreme Visa credit card falls under the credit rebuilding or credit repair tier, all right? So this one does not require a higher credit score, although I would say you want to be in that fair range to get approved for this card. Then you have the Platinum Rewards Secured Visa card. Now, this card lets you build credit while earning rewards, and it does require a minimum of $500 for the deposit. The card earns 1 point on all purchases, and it offers redemption options for travel, merchandise, and a whole lot more. At the time of recording, APR is 18%, which is still high, but that makes sense for a secured card. There is no annual fee and there is no foreign transaction fee. One thing I want to note is that this card does not have a formal automatic graduation policy, so I don't know if it actually goes from a secure card to an unsecured card, so I would just keep that in mind. But if you want to demonstrate responsible behavior, you should use this card to strengthen your relationship if it's the only one that you qualify for. Finally, let's talk about the data points and setting the right expectations. Now, the good news is that you don't need a perfect credit score to get approved with Andrews Federal Credit Union, and this matters because your credit profile is more important than your credit score in this situation. You need to look low risk, and you need to make sure that your credit profile is structured properly. So for example, even if you have a lower credit score, it doesn't automatically mean you have bad credit. Someone can have a 620 credit score and still have a solid chance of approval as long as they have no charge-offs, no collections, no late payments, and no major derogatory items on their credit report. On the other hand, bad credit is really about negative activity. You could realistically have a 700 credit score and still get denied if you have collections or high outstanding balances or other red flags that make you look risky to lenders. To put yourself in a stronger position, I would aim for at least a 650 experience score before applying with little to no derogatory mark. I would also recommend having no more than 3 hard inquiries in the last 6 months. Now, if your report shows too much recent credit seeking behavior, that alone can hurt your chances of getting approved, even if you have a decent credit score. If possible, I would try to get all of your credit card balances below 10% utilization. And more importantly, you want to make sure that lower balances actually get reported to the credit bureaus on your statement closing date. So if the update has not been posted, but you did make a payment, I would say it's worth just waiting until you actually see those updates before submitting your application. I want you to also keep in mind that Andrews may require proof of income, especially if your debt to income ratio looks high or if your income that you list plays a major role in qualifying you. To prepare for that, it helps to pay down balances ahead of time and also have any supporting documentation ready in case you need it, like your last 2 paycheck stubs or maybe even bank statements. And this will be especially true if you have recently opened any new accounts with large balances. Now, the best way to prepare you for actually applying for any products is by opening a checking account, opening a savings account, setting up direct deposit, and I would say keeping money in the account for at least 90 days. Ideally, 6 months is even better, and during that time, if you have any derogatory items on your credit report, I would work on getting that information removed. You can also check out my credit repair playlist. There are step-by-step videos where I break down this process if you need help doing that. And if you get denied for, let's say, a credit card, I would highly recommend opening that secured card option first. Start there and show responsible usage. After a few months of managing that account the right way, you can try again to get an unsecured option. And at the end of the day, everything comes down to proving that you are not a risky borrower. You need to show that you have the ability to repay, and you want to do that by keeping money in the account and actually building a relationship with this credit union. Now, if you already have good to excellent credit, you may be able to skip a lot of these steps, but even then, I still think it makes more sense if you want to get a higher credit limit. But if you're currently rebuilding or establishing credit, these steps can put you in a much stronger position to get approvals. All right, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have recently signed up for Andrews Federal Credit Union, please drop that in the comments below. I would love to hear about your experience. If you did get any approvals, please drop that in the comments as well. Even if it was prior to this video, list your data points if you feel comfortable. That helps everyone in the community also grow, and it also lets them know what data points they may have to hit in order to also see approvals. If there are any other credit unions you would like me to cover, drop those in the comments. I'd be more than happy to take a look at that. That will give me an idea of what I can do for a future video. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and you all have a wonderful day.